Since it's a very nice sunny day, we decided to take advantage of this and go up the Columbia River Gorge and see some tourist things. We're leaving the rental house we're working on at Woodburn. We're just taking a day off. We're still not completely finished with it, and it's Marge's birthday, so we're going up there. Past all the filbert or hazelnut orchards in the Willamette Valley, and then we hit the Columbia River Gorge Highway, and we'll move up with the Columbia River on the left and the mountains on the right, the tree-covered mountains, as we move right on up the Columbia River Gorge. Lots of big rigs heading down the river, and then up ahead of us we can see a rock sticking up higher than the rest right down next to the river, and that's called Rooster Rock, and there's a state park there called Rooster Rock State Park. It's kind of world famous because it was the first legal nude beach in Oregon. If you have to travel a freeway, probably this is the most scenic one you'll ever drive, right along the Columbia River and then up right through the gorge as we head on up toward Multnomah Falls. Lots of traffic on the freeway and lots of noise, but it's still nice. We go past Rooster Rock State Park, and there's kind of a little backwater on the right as we move up the freeway. There's where you turn off to go to Rooster Rock Park. And so we're going to head on up to Bonneville Dam and give it a try up there and see if we can see some fish going through the fish hatchery. There should be some now as they make this one-way trip up the Columbia River, fighting their way up, clear up through the dam and on up to several of the tributaries of the Columbia River, even going in to Idaho in certain places, and even as far as Montana. We wanted to go the scenic old Columbia River Highway, but now there's got to be so many tourists on it that you have to have reservations, and we didn't know we had to have reservations to go on it when we left home, so we'll have to save that for another time. So we'll just have to enjoy it up the freeway. Fortunately, we did get word that we needed reservations to park at Multnomah Falls, so we're covered on that. But anyway, you have to be there at a certain time, and we only have 1 hour to be there. So the hour doesn't start for another hour or so. So we're going to go on up and check out the fish hatchery at Bonneville Dam. Looks like we're going to be all right for time, so we're going to go right on past Multnomah Falls and on up to Bonneville Dam, and then we have to watch the time real carefully and not spend too much time so we can get back for our reservations. It's a bit of a hassle, but that's one of the things we have to do, and so it's nice enough we're willing to jump through the hoops and do that just to see Multnomah Falls. As we head up the freeway, on our right is covered with trees and towering cliffs of the Columbia River Gorge, and on the left is the mighty river itself flowing to the sea. We make our way up the Columbia River till we see the signs that point us off to Bonneville Dam and Bonneville Fish Hatchery. So we're going to exit from the freeway and go in and check out Bonneville Dam and Fish Hatchery. We exit the freeway and go toward the information center, back under the freeway and through kind of a low bridge, and then down a little corridor with large rhododendron bushes growing on both sides of the road, and they're really a pretty sight in the spring when they're in bloom. We go right in and follow the signs to where we can go to the fish hatchery, or the fish ladder, I mean. We go past the fish hatchery, and there's a sturgeon pond here. But since we'd made reservations to go to Multnomah Falls, we have no time to go to the fish hatchery this time and the sturgeon ponds, so I'll put that on hold till the next time. Now we're looking for the spot where we can go to the fish ladder, and they've added something new since last time we were here. There's a little gate and a gatekeeper here, and they come out and inspect your vehicle to see that you're not taking explosives or anything that would destroy the dam with you. That's all. In recent times they've done that. Then we take the narrow little road. First, this is the locks, where the seagoing boats and stuff go through the locks to get above Bonneville Dam and go on to their destination. They haul a lot of wheat and stuff like that through this area. I steer the vehicle down a narrow little road till we come right up next to the dam, and then we'll go right across the first portion of the dam. And it's kind of a little road where there are a bunch of little hatches that rattle when you go across them, and you have to steer your vehicle real careful through here because it's kind of a narrow little windy road right across the lower portion of the dam. And we can look off to our left and see the water churning. There's the locks for the tugs and barges and ships to go through. We move right on past, and then we come to the Powerhouse. There's several vehicles stopped here. I have an idea that's all people that are working in the dam. Then we go right alongside the dam. Here comes another car down this narrow little road, but there's plenty of room. We're going to be doing just fine. And there's what's left of the Columbia River down below us as we move right on over the dam toward the fish hatchery. And there's lots and lots of electric lines here, since Bonneville produces a lot of electricity. Then we see some large parking lots and some buildings on both sides. It's been so long since I've been here, I forgot which one you go in, but we'll find it. First, Marge looks ahead and sees the sign that it says Visitor Center. So we'll go in the Visitor Center, and they've got a few artifacts there that were from the Columbia River tribes. Grinder and mortar and pedestal and some stone beads, all neatly put in a showcase. And of course some arrowheads and the dentalium. That was a shell found off Vancouver Island, and they used it for jewelry, and also a bone pipe and a knife and some glass trade beads, which would have been traded to the Indians for beaver pelts or things that the early explorers wanted. We go through the visitor center quite quick. There's a beaver trap, and the beaver were important. The beaver helped settle the Northwest, with first the fur trappers came in and traded with the Indians, and then after they trapped the beaver nearly to extinction, and then they came back and there were beaver trapping went on again for a while, and now beaver pelts aren't worth much because they have fake furs now. And then we get downstairs to the fish ladder in the little viewing room. We see some people here marveling at these big spring Chinook. One of them going through today, huh?
Yeah, I think we're at the end of the spring run.
Oh yeah. This dam is one of many severe obstacles that these fish have to go through to find their way upstream to the place where they were hatched, and then they will lay their eggs and die, and another generation will come on. And some of these go clear up into Idaho and all the different tributaries of the Columbia River as they fight their way upstream. There were sure a lot of these big, pretty Chinook salmon, spring Chinook, going upstream to finish their ritual of life. This will be their final stage when they get up there and spawn. Then their life is finished and they die. Up the river they go. I've heard that they go through here occasionally.
Yeah, because I remember first time I ever came here. That's been a long, long time ago.
Oh yeah. The person is telling about sturgeon that he used to see go through the ladder years and years ago. And I don't think I've ever seen a sturgeon go through here. Somehow they've got it fixed so they don't go through the dam, the fish ladder right now.
He just putting on a show.
But we used to dedicate a lot of hours to sturgeon fishing right down below Bonneville Dam. And we really caught some dandies down there. There are even some very tastefully mounted fish around in the fish ladder area. And here's what the Native Americans used to fish with. That forked stick had little bone tips on it that they'd spear the fish with, and also they had nets that they'd made that they used near the waterfalls and places like that, where they would catch enough fish to get them through the winter. It would have been super nice to have more time to spend at Bonneville, but we have reservations for Multnomah Falls, and we're going to be late if we don't get going right now. We can see the water churning as it comes out of Bonneville, and those big old sturgeon lay down there and catch all the fish that are chewed up going through the propellers of the turbines at the dam. And so there's some big old sturgeon right in the bottom there, but you can't fish there. It used to be we fished down below there on the island and did really well. And those sturgeon are super good eating and really fun to catch. So we're going to head on down to Multnomah Falls now. There's some of the fish hatcheries we can see as we head out, but we won't have time for any of that now since we have an appointment at Multnomah Falls, across one section of the Columbia River and then on back down the freeway. Sure gave me an almost irresistible urge to go fishing again, and I will as soon as I get that house finished. But right now that's top priority, because that's our means of making a living. And so we'll work on it even harder and try to get it done, and then come back and see some of the scenic places of the Columbia River Gorge, and also maybe we'll catch a big Chinook salmon later on. And then back out on the interstate highway, we're going downstream of the Columbia. We're heading on Interstate 84 west, and so we'll be down to Multnomah Falls pretty soon, since it's only a short distance from Bonneville Dam. The Columbia River is continuing to flow right down to the ocean. Then we look ahead and there's the sign, Multnomah Falls. We'll pull in there and figure out how to deal with our reservations. On the thing it said that you're not guaranteed a spot even if you have reservations. That is a spot to park. And so we're looking ahead, hoping we can find some place to park, and it doesn't look good right at first. So we'll just go down and circle the parking lot till we find a decent place to park. And there's plenty of people here. This is Oregon's #1 tourist destination. Only over 2.5 million people visit this spot every year. Tourists from all over the world, particularly a lot of Japanese tourists, seem to love the waterfalls. And we did it. There was a place for us to park and even an extra or two, so we're in good shape. Now we'll just walk under the eastbound freeway in a little tunnel, and then we'll go up to the falls itself. There's some people there that are checking to see that everyone has reservations, and no problem, we just go right on through. Marge got right through, and then under the eastbound freeway and on over to the historical old lodge that's been here forever, I guess. Everyone's looking up. There must be a waterfall or something there, and the water from the waterfall, the kids are playing in it since it's a hot day, and they seem to be trying to catch some kind of a little fish in there. I never checked to see what it was. And there's the historical old lodge and the signs for Multnomah Falls. The old lodge was built right with good heavy stones, mortared in with good sturdy concrete, and a lot of rock work around the edges of the walkways. So we're going to walk up where we get our first breathtaking look of Multnomah Falls as it comes cascading down out of the mountains and into a little stream which is swallowed up by the Columbia River in just a little bit. There's even a very scenic bridge up above that you can climb up a trail and stand there and watch the fall. We'll take advantage of a photo op here with the falls in the background as the trail's pretty much all uphill and not real steep, so it was no problem to go up. I think if someone had health problems, they maybe wouldn't want to try it, but Marge and I decided to go up and try it. If all those tourists can make it, surely we can. And up the trail we go. We're breathing a little hard as we get to the bridge, but it wasn't that bad. It was super nice, matter of fact, and you could hear the roar of the waterfalls as we made our way up, and then you can see it here hitting the rocks and fanning out. What a beautiful place to be. And then you can look down a real steep canyon below us, and that's where the waterfalls all end up at the bottom of this. Downstream you can see the pool at the bottom of the waterfalls, That's under the bridge. And then on the other side, you can see the falls tumbling down a really big cliff and hitting a pool right below us. And there are plenty of tourists from all over the world here. And the tourists were very nice and polite, particularly the ones from Japan. This place was built and built right a long time ago, and it's still standing and still safe to this day. There's some of the old posts along the guardrails as you go up to it. We're getting a little rotten, but that's okay. It wasn't hurting anything. Then we decide to go to Rooster Rock State Park, and this again is a world famous place, for it's the first nude beach that was legal in the state of Oregon. So we're going to go down and check it out. We'll hurry and eat us a little bit of lunch before we start down to the beach. And this park has several beaches on it. Only one of them is clothing optional. So we're going to go down and see what this is all about on the clothing optional section. There's a map here with detailed lines showing you where you can and can't go if you're naked. We went down to the beach, and there's been a lot of water this year, so the path was pure mud to get to the river. It didn't seem to be bothering this swallowtail butterfly that much, but Marge wasn't enjoying it. So we saw an abandoned baby stroller there. Maybe they'd had it with kids and decided just to leave the stroller there, or maybe they couldn't push it through the mud and they're going to pick it up on the way back. Anyway, to this point, we've seen absolutely no one. And that's the way it continued. So we turned around and went back home. We get home and see the neighbors harvesting their grass seed.